letting yourself settle in to your seat. You can have your eyes open or closed, just orienting yourself to the space, the temperature. Where you're making contact with the floor, noticing that. And noticing if you can release to gravity a little bit. Like if there's anything that feels like you're holding it up in your body, could you soften and let go? And now as you inhale, let's start to widen the inhale like we do with our umbrella breath, 360 degrees all around. And then a long exhale out your mouth. You can blow out like you're blowing out through a straw, or you can sigh out. And we'll try that 2 more times. So inhaling, umbrella breath, 360 degrees. And then long exhale out the mouth. Good. And now let's try to breathe out through your nose if that works for you. Okay. If it doesn't, you can stick with out through your mouth, but staying with that wide inhale and the long exhale. You can use Ujjayi breath if you'd like. Good. And we'll just slowly try to stay with that as you transition into a side seat. So we're going to sit 90-90 with the legs. Doesn't matter which leg is in front. Okay. And from here, we're just going to go back and forth. So you can put your hands behind your back without moving your feet. So you just lift the knees, don't move those feet, roll over, and then go back and forth. If it's hard not to lift the feet, try to put the feet closer together as you do it. That can work too. So they're not as wide. It might not be quite a 90-90 if you're doing it that way. Okay. Good. Just notice how this is feeling through your knees, your ankles, and your hips, taking good care, right? And checking in. Now, if this feels okay, if you check in and everything feels okay, you might even try to do it without your hands. So you just go back and forth, using more of your core. You can even add in a little twist, but it's totally fine to keep using your hands, okay? Good. All right, adding in a little more rotation if you haven't already. So by rotation, I mean, when you get to one side, can you reach around with the opposite arm, stretching? Good. Now, next time you get your right leg in front, let's stay there, and you can rearrange if you need to, because you're going to be putting your elbow down outside this right hip. So you might need your mat or a blanket below it. Okay, so look at your right hip, right? This is how we can get organized. And then your right elbow is going to line up directly by it. And then your legs can come back to that 90-90 position. And now let's place the left hand on your left hip. Okay, we're going to try to keep this hip still, right? We're not going to let it move forward and back, in other words. And from here, let's inhale and roll that left shoulder blade down your back. You might even lift the chest toward the ceiling a little bit without moving the hip back. And then as you exhale, without moving the hip back, I'm going to cave my chest in, rounding the upper back as though I were going to take the left shoulder down to the right hand. And then I'm going to inhale, come back to that left shoulder, down the back, chest lifted, And then as I exhale, I'm rounding the upper back, taking left shoulder toward right fingertips, and keep going, okay? So the tricky part is keeping that left hip from rolling a little bit forward or a little bit back. See if you can isolate it, not let it roll. And we'll try a couple more here. That's getting into all the areas that get tight in the upper back and through the ribs. Good, you guys. Now, next time you open up, let's stay there and you can let go of the top hip. Let's press into the right elbow so you really lift out of that right shoulder. So it's not up by your ear. Yeah, that's it. And then take the left arm along your ear so you're side bending here. If you want to, you can straighten out the left leg on the floor. Yeah, it doesn't have to be in the same angle. It can go in any angle. Good. And now really engage that right shoulder. And maybe you even press into the elbow, lifting the right hip off the floor. You don't have to, that's just an option, okay? Your right knee stays on the floor. Yeah, that's it. It's still side bending. Keep breathing into those left ribs particularly. Good, one more breath there. And then exhale, let's slowly come back down. You can bend the back knee as you come back down. And then let's inhale, sit up tall. And exhale, you can lean back just to switch which leg is in front, or you can turn a different direction, whichever works for you. Okay, get your 90-90 set up. And remember that you want to have your left elbow outside that left hip. Good. And from here, we're going to start with the right hand on the right hip. Okay. Inhale, roll the right shoulder blade down your back, lifting the chest. And as you exhale, we're bringing the right shoulder as though we're going to the left fingertips and rounding without letting that right hip move. And again, okay, so just keep repeating that a few times and just still dealing with this issue. Okay, a few more times. Okay, a couple more. Good. And then let's stay in that open position. And we're going to reach the right arm along your ear for a side bend. And just stay here for a moment, pressing out of that left shoulder, right? So lifting out of it and just checking in with this side. You might decide you want to straighten the right leg. It doesn't have to be on the same angle, right? You can move it around, get on that big toe side of the foot so that you're really strong there. And then if you want to, you can try to lift the hip off the floor, keeping the shin and the knee down. Keep breathing, getting rounded and long on that top side of your body, breathing into the right side ribs. Good, and then slowly coming down, you might bend the back knee as you come down, and you can lift yourself back upright. Ah, good, you guys. Let's take the legs in front. You'll need both of your blocks now. You can face any direction. We're going to take one block on either the medium or the low height, and the other block probably on the same height. Okay, if that doesn't feel good, you can put it on a different height, of course. Okay, so you're going to line this block, the back block up just about at where a bra line would be, or a little bit above it, possibly. And then your head is going to go in the second block. And if it feels like, oh my gosh, that second block is so far down, then go ahead and raise that second block up to the next height. Okay, so up to you on that. It might feel good to have it on the highest height to begin with. We're going to inhale, reach the arms up toward the ceiling, and then exhale, grab opposite elbows. Good. And then inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. You don't have to reach the elbows, right? You might only be able to reach the wrists. It's just that the elbows are bent. Good. And breathe here. As you breathe here, can you take deep breaths into your rib cage. You'll want your knees bent for this. Good. Keep going. Of course, if the elbows or the shoulders hurt in any way for this giant chest opener, you can adjust for your body. Good. And now let's release your grasp and take the arms back up to the ceiling. Good. And as you exhale, you can open the arms out to the sides. I like to bend my elbows a little bit as I do this. And you can make snow angels here. So it's like the hands come together above the head and then back down out to the sides. I've got mine bent, but yours can be bent or straight, whatever feels better. So we're really just working on opening up the chest, opening up the upper back here. Good, you guys. And getting to know how your shoulders feel today, right? Not going into any pain. Nice. Good. Now, the next time they come overhead, let's interlace the hands behind the head. And now you'll probably want to either take your block out of the way completely, the head block, or you can lower it. And you've got your hands supporting your head and neck, right? We're going to inhale, open up the elbows, leaning back just as far as feels okay in your body. And as you exhale, think abdominals draw down, sternum draws down, and you start to lift the head and shoulders looking between your legs. Okay, and repeat. So you inhale, open up, ribs open up like an accordion. And as you exhale, you begin your exhale, feel the sternum move down so the core connection is happening. And now this isn't like a big, strong bit of core work. It's just to get your brain connected to these muscles, to come out of a big opening in the chest, that your core is going to be engaged. Okay, a couple more there. Good. Just a couple more of those. And then to come out of that, what you can do is tuck your chin, place your hands down on the floor and your forearms, and start to lift yourself off the block. Okay, we're going to come onto our backs. You're going to need plenty of space overhead, okay, because we're going to come on like the floor like this and have the arms stretched up toward the ceiling, but they're going to go over the head in a moment. Okay, so I've got the block between my hands. My hands are on the short ends of the block. The long end of the block is facing the ceiling. Okay, I'm going to inhale, reach it up as high as I can. And then as you exhale, draw the ribs down to the floor. So those front ribs, feel your core turn on. And don't let them come away from the floor as you start to take the block overhead with straight arms. So you won't go all the way to the floor, because if you go all the way to the floor, it's likely that your ribs will come up. So you probably have to float just a little bit. Okay. Now inhale. And as you exhale, can you take your left leg up toward the ceiling? If you need to bend and straighten it a few times, you can. Okay. Your right leg could straighten on the floor or it can stay bent. Good. Good. Now keep working those ribs down to the floor and pressing your hands into the block so your core is on. Your left leg stays up, you guys. Your left leg stays up. Yeah. And your arms stay overhead. So you're just still, you're not moving. Yeah, your arms stay overhead. There you go, you guys. And now you're drawing those ribs down. So those front ribs are coming down to the floor. You might need head and neck support so you don't strain in your throat. And just start to make circles with your whole left leg. Good, feeling that core working. Good, and now circle in the opposite direction. Keep drawing the ribs down so your core is engaged. Good, keep pressing your hands into the block. Good, and now let's lower the left leg down to the floor and bring your block down onto your belly. Both legs are straight on the floor. Take an inhale here. And a sigh out your mouth, exhale. Good, then let's inhale, reach the arms up toward the ceiling again. And exhale, draw the ribs down as you start to slowly take the arms overhead only as far as you can with the ribs down. Good, and then inhale, bring the right leg up. If you have to bend the left leg, you can. Or not have to, but if it just feels better, okay? Keep drawing the ribs down so you really get that core engaged. Keep breathing. All right, long breaths, umbrella breaths. And now let's start to circle that right leg and hip as though you're drawing circles on the ceiling with your foot. Try to feel connected with your core here. You could even have your left leg partially straight. You know, like it doesn't have to be all the way straight. It could be just partially straight so you can still get more core. Good. And after you've reversed it and gone a few circles, let's bring both legs up toward the ceiling. Okay, good. Keep breathing. Let's take the block back up toward the ceiling. Good. And just pause there for a moment. Good. Inhale. Exhale. Can you draw your belly button down and just lift your tail up toward the ceiling as though you're pressing your feet onto the ceiling, and then come back down. So you'll just do little pumps here. Exhale, press up, inhale down. Let's do a few more. And think straight up rather than towards your head, straight up. Okay, it's just tiring out those lower abdominals a bit here. And now we're going to pause. So put the hips down, legs stay up. Let's take the block behind the head. And so now my elbows are out to the side and the back of my block is supporting my head. And I'm going to curl my upper body up. So my hands are holding my block behind my head. That's it. And then my block is touching my skull. Right? And your chin is tucking for this one. And we're going to do the same thing. Okay? Little pumps with the lower body. Keep breathing. You can even give yourself a number if you want, right? Like a number to do, like 5 or 7 or 10. Keep breathing. Good, you guys. And then slowly bend the knees. Place the foot on the floor. Let's set the block to the side and put the head on the floor and just gently let your head rock side to side. Take a sigh or two. All right, we're going to interlace our hands behind our heads. Okay, knees are bent for this one. Elbows are wide as we inhale. As you exhale, you're going to press the low back down to the floor, lengthen the tail forward, and curl the tail off the floor like a bridge pose, but we're going to keep the ribs sinking down. Good. And now inhale, lower the hips back down. And as you exhale, we're going to lift as though you're lifting from the pelvic floor, keeping elbows wide, sternum towards ceiling, head and shoulders up. And then inhale, lower back down, pressing elbows into floor. And exhale, curl tail up, back to your glute bridge, pressing down through the balls of the feet. So the inhale, you lower the hips. And the exhale, now we're lifting the sternum toward the ceiling. Elbows stay wide. Think lifting from the pelvic floor, going really slowly. So the inhale is the down and the exhale is the lift of the hips. You're alternating whether you're lifting hips or whether you're lifting torso. And this is the same kind of core that we were working with last week, in that when you're lifting the torso, we're going really slowly, lifting from pelvic floor, elbows are staying wide. And instead of chin going toward chest on these, like I do a lot of, it's more sternum towards ceiling, eyes towards ceiling when you lift the torso. Okay, let's do a couple more rounds if you can here. Good, you guys. And next time you come down from either side, let's release the arms. You could windshield wiper the knees or rock the head or both. And now coming back to the center, let's draw the knees in toward the belly and rock ourselves up. We're going to come all the way down into Sphinx pose onto our forearms here. But pressing your pubic bone down as you broaden across your chest, engaging your glutes. Inhale. And as you exhale, let's reach the left arm forward, twisting around. You can let the hips and knees move as you look around to your right. And then inhale back to the center and other side. Exhale, right arm forward, twisting around to the left. Good. Inhale back to center. Good. And we're going to stay here for a moment. Exhale. Inhale. As you exhale, can you engage your lower belly a little bit more? Good. Press into the elbows here. Broaden across your shoulder blades. Good. And now can you draw your sternum back and in so that you come into, and your belly back and in just by engaging it, so that you come into a modified forearm plank on the knees. Your tail's tucked under, you're pressing into the elbows. Should be working your core a lot without any back pain. Okay, if you have any back pain at all, come out of it and come into it from up here on your knees, where you can rock your knees back and tuck the tail from here. Okay, keep breathing. Keep feeling like you're sliding your elbows back isometrically on the floor towards your hips. Keep tucking that tail under and lifting the belly. Good, you guys. And then from here, you can walk the knees in a little bit. We're going to have the knees below the hips and karate chop the hands so the arms come forward, the pinky edge. And very carefully, it just depends on how your shoulders are, you know, if they're healthy. But for me, it's fine. Today, I'm going to press down there and stretch my hips up and back. If it's not fine, if you're getting a pain in your shoulders, then please adjust your arms so you don't feel that pain. Okay, good. Let your neck hang or rest on the head on the floor, and breathe like you're breathing really wide into the sides of your ribs. And a couple more breaths there. 2 more breaths there. Good. And then let's slowly come up onto our hands and make our way to downward dog. Okay, take your time. Good. And when you get to down dog, feel free to move around however you'd like. You can move your head side to side or pedal out your feet, pressing into the fingertips. And then let's slowly walk the feet up to the front of your mat. You can pause here for a moment, letting the knees bend. Again, releasing your neck. You might nod it or turn it side to side. And then hands above knees. Let's inhale as you extend your spine forward, taking your weight toward the balls of your feet. And exhale, bend the knees as though you're sitting in a chair, taking your weight back. And inhale, reaching up. And exhale, let's take the arms out to the sides and down. Good. And now we'll need some knee padding in a moment, so you can make sure you've got that. All right, good. We got Julie too. And Julie, you can always go back and watch the beginning on the recording if you want. Yeah. All right. Sure. Yeah, I will in just a minute. Okay, so you're going to come up to the front. Just grab your blocks. Okay. And you've got your knee padding ready. You can be on the side or you can set it up, whichever you like better. Okay. Feet are parallel. And now as you inhale, let's spread across the collarbones. As you exhale, just relax your shoulders. Good. And then inhale, let's reach the arms up. And exhale as you fold. And inhale, extend your spine forward, coming toward the balls of your feet. And exhale, let's take the left leg back and drop the knee down to your blanket and come up into a half kneel, which just means your back hip is right over your back knee. Okay. And then from here, you're going to inhale and get really tall as you tuck that left hip forward. Good. As you start to feel that stretch in the front of the left hip. Good. Exhale there. Then inhale, let's reach the left arm up, keeping the tuck of the tail. And exhale, you might lean just slightly to the right so you can feel a little more tension happening along that left hip flexor. Keep breathing. Good. One more breath. Then let's inhale, come back up to the center. And make sure your front ankle is below your front knee, not behind it. Okay. Now, as you exhale, we're going to draw the belly button back and bend the elbow. You got your right hand on your right thigh as you see if you can hook the elbow here. But now let's make a fist with the left hand and use that for leverage to move your chest forward away from your belly button. Good. Now you could stay right here. You might look at the floor for help with balance, or you could take your right palm and place it on top of your fist so the elbow goes toward the ceiling. That's it. And then use that for leverage to, again, move the chest forward away from the belly button and breathe. You can look down or wherever it feels best on the neck. Inhale, breathing into both sides of the rib cage, just like we've been doing, opening up this whole area. Good. 2 more breaths. And 1 more breath. And then slowly bringing your right hand back to your thigh to unhook the elbow. Now can take a low block below the left hand, or you could put it on the floor. We're going to inhale as you lift that left knee off the floor, and exhale as you twist open to face the right. Now, if you have to keep that back knee down, you can do that too, okay? Good. Keep breathing. You might even take the right hand behind your head so that you can really bring the back of the head back. You can see what feels best here. Good. Let's do 2 more breaths. Back leg nice and strong here. Good. 1 more breath. And then exhale, slowly untwisting yourself, bringing your knee and your arm down. Good. You're going to move that block out of the way as you inhale to step the knee back and into any kind of plank pose. It could be knees down or knees up. Let's protract the shoulder blades. Inhale. And as you exhale, you can lower down to the floor, dropping knees, lowering down slowly. And inhale into cobra or sphinx pose, engaging your glutes as you do that. And then exhale, lowering down and pushing up and back to either puppy or down dog. And as you come back into your pose, see if you can let your neck relax and also recover your breath, right? So feeling the breath go in and then breathing out, using that umbrella breath. And a couple more. Good. And then inhale, bending your knees. And exhale, you can either come down to the floor first or step that left leg forward right away, taking right knee down to your padding. Let's inhale, rise up, half kneel, tuck the tail forward, getting that stretch in here. Exhale. And then inhale, reach that right arm up. Keeping the tuck of the tail, you might lean a little bit to the left. Good. So keep drawing the tail forward rather than the belly forward. Belly kind of goes back a little bit. Good. Now inhale, reaching back up toward the ceiling. And exhale, you're going to now round the spine as you hook the right elbow around. Left hand is on thigh. And now use that leverage to inhale and draw the chest forward toward the center of the room. Exhale, you can place a flat hand on top of the fist if you want, elbow towards ceiling, and get a little more leverage. Keep breathing. So now we're focusing, instead of on that right hip, we're focusing on the rib cage, right? Just opening it up and on the shoulders. Neck is at ease. Nice, you guys. One more breath. Good. And now let's bring the left hand back to the thigh and slowly untwist right hand to a low block or the floor. And inhale to lift that back knee off the floor, and exhale, you can twist open to the left. Let's keep that back leg lifted and engaged. Your hands can reach up toward the ceiling, or it could come behind the head with the elbow bent. Good. Keep breathing and keep that back leg and that glute lifted and engaged. Nice, everyone. And one more breath here. And then slowly untwisting, coming back around here. That's right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do something different now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn toward our right. Okay, so towards your right. As you're wide on your mat, bend your right knee, take your left elbow in the direction, and we're just going to go side to side like that. So to the left. Good. Keep reaching the hips back and the chest forward. So it doesn't matter how deeply you bend the knee. Think about staying long through your spine instead. You could come up higher. Good. And a couple more. And now let's stay in the middle between the two. And you can straighten the legs or bring them towards straight. You might need a block beneath your hand. We're going to do twisting here. So let's place right hand on the block or floor. Inhale long through your spine. Exhale, reach left arm up, twisting to the left. Good. And then inhale, left hand comes down to block or floor. And exhale, twist open to the right. You might find that when you twist to one side, it feels better to bend one of your knees a little bit more. You can do that. Think about this. Instead of just going through the motions and doing, the move that I'm saying, can you instead try to feel the motion in your own spine, your own body, and moving as slowly as you want to feel that a little more closely. Good. The next time you come down, let's stay down for a moment. Now, only if it feels okay. So you're going to have to test this out. You could take your hands to blocks or the floor. You might need to bend a little more in the knees. I'm going to interlace my hands behind my back. So see if that feels okay to you. And then I have a little bend in my elbows. I'm going to reach my arms up toward the ceiling. If that doesn't feel okay, then you're doing a forward fold with your hands on the floor. Okay, so for more support there, or you might just need to bend the knees a little more, and that might make you feel a little more stable. And think shoulder heads moving away from the floor as you do this. And can you feel the balls and heels of your feet pressing down strongly? Now you might want to let go before you come up, or you can try to come up with your hands like this. We're going to inhale to bend the knees and scoop your chest forward, and exhale using strong legs to come up. And then inhale, shake out the arms, wiggle the feet a little closer, and let's step to the front of the mat. You can grab your block, and you can let your eyes close for a moment if you'd like. Just taking a few breaths to completely check in again with your body, all the way from your feet to the top of your head. Might wiggle your toes a little bit. As you inhale, can you find that width for your rib cage? And on your exhale, can you find a long exhale? Good. All right. we're going to be stepping to the wall. So you guys at home are finding a wall space. You're going to need your whole body to be able to face it. You might have to watch me first so you can see me. And let's see. So we've got Lisa. Why don't you go down to the end one? And oh no, I'm going to use this one though, Penny. So Penny will need to be at the mirrors. Karn will need to be there. Lisa will need to be there. And then let's have Holly. Why don't you use this one over here? Okay, I'm going to move this guy with me. So here we go. Sorry, you guys are traveling here with me. Okay, so everyone might want to just watch first and then we'll do it together. Because I would just want you to see what it looks like set up. I'm going to show you my upper body. Okay, so you'll be about a foot or less from the wall, and we're not ever going to be leaning into the wall. Okay, and my elbows will be coming to the wall and at shoulder height. And my hands, I'm going to want my fingers straight up from my elbows. But as I come into this, I'm going to press and protract the shoulder blades, so widen them, right? So my neck is free. And then it's going to be working really hard from here. You're going to imagine you have $100 bill below your elbows pressing into the wall. And already I feel a lot of work happening. But then I'm going to add on. So I'm going to tuck my tail under, and I'm going to move my hips a little away from the wall, but without doing this, right? I'm tucked under, and I'm going to be pressing. Okay, so that's going to be the action. I'm going to come around and look at you guys so I can see that you're doing it, but let me talk you into it. So Karin, a little closer to the wall because you're leaning. So you don't want to feel like you're on a slant, and then everybody press their elbows into the wall without doing anything else. Okay, just press elbows in. Hands, middle fingers straight up from elbows. Your hips are above your heels. Okay, so you're not leaning in at all. Good. Yeah, totally relax here and press into your elbows. Yeah, head away. Yeah, there we go. Good. Now imagine you've got $100 bill below each elbow, and you really need that 100. I don't know anybody who doesn't, but you really need those $100 bills, okay? And so can you guys already feel the engagement happening just from that? Yes? Okay, if you can't, say no so I can come help, okay? And then your neck should feel free. And now what we're gonna do is tuck our tail under. And let's everybody bend your knees a little bit as you tuck your tail under. Not like way toward the wall, just a tiny bit. Good, and now hopefully you're feeling it a little bit more. And now everybody bring your sternum back to your back body. So you're rounding your upper body a little bit. And now your chest might need to lean a bit toward the wall as you take your hips, keeping them tucked, you take them away from the wall. Yeah. Yeah, and tuck. There we go. Your knees are, I don't want you to walk your feet back. I just don't want you to bend your knees toward the wall. Good, yeah, that looks better, Dolores. Can you feel it though? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. And you can even get a little lean like this. Yeah, caving. There you go. But if you're feeling it, that's okay. Looks good, you guys. If you're feeling it, you're probably doing it. Does it feel really intense? It should feel really intense. Okay, and then let's drop it and relax. Okay, just kind of swing the arms. We're gonna do a much shorter one again, a much shorter one. Okay, now that you all kind of know. Okay, let's just get right back to it. That was the last thing we're doing at the wall. So you're going to come to the wall, elbows at shoulder height, put a little, just like you're unlocking your knees. They're soft, you can bounce, okay? And then tuck the tail and draw your sternum toward the back of your ribs. Good, and then $100 bill under each elbow. So this is working what's called the serratus anterior, this muscle below each shoulder blade wrapping around the ribs. Do not bend your knees toward the wall. Take your hips toward the center of the room. So bring your hips. You're going to feel like you're falling, yeah, and then tuck. There you go. There you go. Keep bringing them, not your feet, just not your feet. But your feet don't go. Yes, that's it, Karin. Good, 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 good. Yeah. Your feet don't go back. It will feel like you're going to fall back as you take your hips back. So just keep leaning your chest a little forward to counterbalance. All right, you guys come out. Good job. Shake it out. You can come back to your mat. You can, here. Yeah, here. You guys getting that? Here. Yeah. Yeah. Where were you feeling it? Oh, in your elbows because they hurt on the wall. Yeah, sometimes people need a little padding, you know, like sometimes people's elbows are a little tender. I should have mentioned that. Sorry. You can, yeah, you can always put like a little blanket or something. Those walls are weird, you know? Okay, give it a little shake. You're like, all I could focus on was the pain in my elbows. That's no good. Or a little swing and twist. And that one's a tough one to get. Cute haircut, Heather. Yeah. That one's tough one to get, so we'll be trying it again, but it's gonna come in use right now, all right? So we're coming back to the center, feet parallel. Let's inhale and reach the arms up. Good, and exhale, let's hinge and fold. Good, and then inhale, let's reach your chest forward. And exhale, we're gonna step to our half kneel again. You can pad your knee, left leg back, grab a block. Okay, I'm gonna take our blocks and put the long ends behind our heads. Good, tuck your tail just like we do with our psoas stretch, okay? And then inhale, I'm gonna keep that tail tucked. From that place, if it feels okay, you can feel like you're opening your ribs upward, okay? Good, and then if you want to, you can let your head lean into that block, feel the stability there, maybe even looking up. Keep breathing. Keep squeezing the legs toward one another and tucking the tail forward. But unlike what we did against the wall, we're now opening our ribs, right? We're opening the chest. Good, one more breath. Good, and release. You can bring the block down. You can step back, inhale, step to plank pose. Now, if you want to go down to a vinyasa, you can, or you can go back to your down dog or puppy dog pose. Let's take a sigh wherever you end up. Good, and then inhale, bend the knees, and exhale, left leg comes forward, right knee down. And block again, same thing, okay? So we're tucking the tail forward, engaging the glute. We got our psoas stretch. We're gonna keep the lower body the same as we start to open up the upper body, okay? So we're gonna open up the elbows, let the head rest on the block. Getting stability through your lower body. So it's hard to open up the upper body if we don't feel stable in the lower body and the core. Just like it's hard to open up emotionally without feeling secure and safe. Good, one more breath. Good, and then slowly engage the abdominals to come out. You're gonna come down with the block, and this time stepping to, well, let's just take the knees down. Yeah, let's take the knees down instead of going right into it. I'm gonna take the forearms down too. Good, let's protract the shoulder blades like we did against the wall, okay? And just widen them. You don't have to widen this. You don't have to round the spine though. Your spine can stay in neutral. Good, now this might be enough for you, okay? Just practicing protracting the shoulder blades without elevating them so they're not coming up towards your ears. Good, or you might be able to hover as though you've got a beach ball between your elbows and you're trying to hold on to it. You might be able to hover the elbows just to about an inch off the floor. Good. Keep breathing. So it's that same muscle group we're working on, the serratus. Yeah, if you bring your elbows back, Yeah. And you won't get into your neck so much. Good. Yes, you too. That was good. Okay, good. And then let them come down. Good. Now we're going to keep the same action in the upper body, but we're going to see, could we exhale, hover the knees off the floor? The toes are tucked under to help you lift. Your chest is right between your elbows. So if you're farther back like this, bring it forward, head, and then rest. Okay, now you have an option. You can try either of those two, or you could do both at the same time. Okay, so you could try hovering elbows and knees together, or one or the other, alternating. When you're ready, protract, right? And then you can try to lift. You can do one at a time to get into it, of course, okay? Keep breathing, keep squeezing your beach ball if you've got those elbows hovering. Good, shoulders are away from ears. Good, ribs are drawing in. Good, and then come on down. So a couple things I'm seeing, you guys, because we're going to try it one more time. Some of you have your knees too far back. So when you're trying to lift, it's like this really long thing. Your knees are right below your elbows. Your knees are right, your hips, not your elbows. You're like, it's not twister. Okay, so your knees are right below your elbows. Let's try it again, just for a count of, or maybe 3 breaths. How about that? 3 breaths. You choose which one you're going to do. When you're ready, inhale and exhale, protract, and then come into it. And then either going to child's pose or puppy or down dog, whichever suits you. Take a couple of sighs. Nice work. Moving around and feeling. Good, and then we're slowly gonna walk forward with our hands. Our feet. I'm all backwards. Okay, it's gonna shake out your head and neck. And now let's bend the knees and roll up. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's step the left leg back, warrior one. Okay, feet are hips distance apart. You're gonna reach those arms up. Good. Can everybody try to tuck the tail a little bit? It's a little different than we might normally do warrior one. I'm gonna tuck the tail so my back knee has to bend a little bit to make that happen. Good. And I'm just gonna feel the upper body opening and reaching as I get really stable through the lower body. Inhale, exhale, inhale. And as you exhale, engage the abdominals to bring the arms down and bring them all the way to the floor. So bending more, hands to floor. You can step back to downward dog, or you could take that right leg back and up. So you're in a one-legged down dog. Good. Let your neck be at ease. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Exhale, if you've got the leg up, bringing it down. You're going to inhale, bend the knees. And exhale, let's step the left leg forward. Use your hand if you want to get it up there. You're going to inhale, reach the chest forward and rise into warrior one, this side. And then bend the back knee a little bit so you can tuck the tail forward. And then see if you can open the upper body from there. Good. Of course, if your neck and shoulders hurt and you just want arms down, you can always do that. Okay, one more breath. And then slowly exhale, engaging abdominals, bringing hands down. We're doing the same thing. We're going to step back to downward dog or one-legged downward dog with the left leg up. And let your neck be at ease. Keep breathing. Good, then exhale, bring that left leg down. This time we're coming down to our knees. And gonna grab your block. And we're gonna place it between our palms with the palms facing in, so like a karate chop hand, and the elbows are straight back from the wrists, so they're not wider, they're right back. Good. And now let's get it so your chest is above your elbows for a moment, and then inhale, protract those shoulder blades. So just like we're pushing into the wall with our elbows, so you're widening your shoulder blades without rounding. Good. Inhale, exhale. Now from here, I'm going to come into dolphin pose. So I like to walk my knees in a little closer, and then my toes tuck, trying to lift the knees off the floor. They don't have to straighten. My elbows stay down, my head is floating, and I'm breathing. Nice. And now can you lift, your rib cage away from your shoulder joint? So your rib cage moves back towards your hips, up and back towards your hips. That's it. Walk your feet closer, most people, bending the knees so that you can lift your shoulders away. Nice, you guys. And then take a break. Yeah, that's a hard pose, isn't it? Dolphin is so challenging. So take a look at me for a second, just so I can give, sometimes getting a visual can really help, when you're seeing a pose. So protracting the shoulder blades, right? Boom, right? And then I'm walking my feet a little closer, just so that when I lift, there's not so much weight on my shoulders. Because if I'm way back here, which a lot of you guys are doing, you're here, you're here. You're like this because you're tight, right? So then all this crunching is going on. But if I have my feet closer, it's a little easier to lift away because I got bent knees. I come away. Let's try it again. Some of you might want to try it without the block, palms down. The thing is that we're going to try to keep, I don't know, you can tripod it if it feels better in your shoulders, okay? So you could get rid of the block and tripod, get rid of the block and stay parallel, or keep the block, okay? 3 choices. Here we go. Let's come into it. Protract the shoulder blades. Inhale. Exhale. See about lifting the knees. If it's too much, then don't lift the knees. Do puppy dog instead. And walk the feet closer. Make sure you've got no shoulder pain, just shoulder strengthening that you're feeling. Weight back towards your feet, so not towards your head. Way back, yeah. If you bend your knees a lot, you can get back. Yeah, good. Take a break. Take a break, everybody. Yes, good job. All right, you can take a break either in child's pose, just resting the shoulders like this, but it might feel better to stretch the arms in puppy and breathe. And so the main thing is you don't want dolphin pose to be hurting your shoulders. You want it to feel like it's strengthening and opening. Okay, so if it feels like, that was painful, not strengthening, but pain, then it's too much for you right now. You might have a shoulder thing going on. You can always do forearm plank, any of the other things to help build strength. Good, one more breath. Good, actually 2 more breaths, just letting things go a little bit more. Good, and then slowly, let's come up and back to your downward dog. All right, now if you're doing down dog with me, let's see, how would it feel to come from down dog down onto your elbows? Don't do it again if it hurts, but if it feels okay, you can try to come down and then back up onto your hands. And then the next time you come down, you might try it from the opposite side first. And just see how that's going for you. And if it's way too much, if you're struggling and holding your breath, that means it's too much, okay? So if you find yourself holding your breath, don't do that. Instead, work on down dog or work on forearm plank or puppy. Let your neck go. Good. Okay, if you've been doing the switches, that feel smooth, you might use them again in a moment. All right, what we're going to do is inhale, bend the knees, and exhale. We're coming into warrior one, right side forward. You can get there however it works best for your body. Step it or come into it from a different way, standing up. Okay, just get your feet situated. Take a break for a second. Yeah. Good. Gonna inhale, reach the arms up. Let's take the palms together. Good. Now you could stay here, or you could exhale, bend the elbows, taking the hands behind the head a bit. Good. Get that tuck of the tail. Good. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale. Inhale. Now, as you exhale, let's slowly engage the abdominals to start to come down like we did last time. We're going to bring the hands to the floor slowly. Then let's inhale. You can step to your down dog, or you can step to your one-legged down dog, right leg up. If you're stepping to one-legged down dog, could you lower the elbows too? Or even if you're just in regular down dog, could you lower the elbows? If it's too much, don't do it. We're not forcing things, okay? Keep breathing. Keep moving rib cage away from shoulder joints. Inhale. Exhale. If you're on your elbows, let's come back to down dog. And then bring that right leg forward again. Set the back heel down. Inhale. Reach the chest forward. Exhale. Inhale, lifting the arms up. Good. We're going to step forward. So just going to exhale, step. Good. You can let your eyes close for a moment. Notice. Good. Inhale. Exhale. And then right leg goes back, warrior one. Get your hips situated. Bend the back knee a little bit. Tuck in the tail. Good. Yeah, that's the hottest spot in the room right there. Good. Inhale. Arm palms together. Good. Exhale. Bend in the elbows. Good, you guys. Remember, the shoulders are tired. You can leave them down. Now we're going to try to open up the upper body as we stabilize with the lower body. Okay? You can feel like your ribs are spreading apart. The head is resting into the hands or the wrists. Good. Keep breathing. Wide inhale. Exhale. And then let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, use the core to bring you out, like we practiced on the blocks earlier. Bringing the hands down. Remember, you've got options. Downward dog, puppy, one-legged down dog. Good. Now, if you want to, you can try to lower the elbows. Good. A couple more breaths. Good. Now exhale. If you've got a leg up, let's bring that leg down. Some of us are going to walk into forearm plank. Some of us are going to rest, okay? And some of us are going to get into forearm plank when you're ready, okay? You can be on knees if you want in forearm plank. You can have knees up. Good. And imagine you're doing this against the wall. Remember that $100 bill? But can you tuck your tail under? Good. And you might need to walk your feet back more, Holly. Yeah, that's it. Even a little further. Keep itching them. But you got to keep tucking the tail, right, Karn? Right, Holly? Yeah, just keep tucking that tail. That's it. You can always drop the knees. Nice, everybody. Good. And then let's take it down, knees down. And then we're going to walk into Sphinx. Yeah, that's it. And just let your neck relax. If Sphinx doesn't feel good right now, just do belly down, right? Head down, belly down. Just notice what you need. Another breath here. Good. One more. And now we're going to slowly lower down. You can pad your forehead with your hands if you want to. So you're going to bend the knees and windshield wiper the lower legs. You can let the hips move and the low back move. Knees bend up, feet towards ceiling. Good. And then coming back to the center, you're going to stretch one arm overhead so that you can roll onto your back. Have your block close by, your blanket close by. Going to come into supported bridge pose on a block or a bolster. Going to inhale, lift my hips off the floor and slide my block on the medium or the low height below my sacrum. Move my shoulder blades away from my ears. You can rest your hands if you want on your lower ribs or your belly. And as you inhale, feeling this area expand. Long exhale. And again. Just tucking those shoulders under or just moving them away from your ears. You might like to take one leg up toward the ceiling or both legs up to make sure your block is in a spot that feels most supportive. You could always do this with your legs against the wall as well. Yeah, you might like to point and flex the ankles or roll the ankles. You might like to have knees bent instead. Okay. Good, you guys. And then you can always bend so the knees come toward the belly as well, or you could always just put the feet back on the floor if that feels better to you right now. Okay. Let's take a few more breaths here. As you inhale, big inhale, long exhale. And inhaling for 4, exhaling for 6. Couple more. And then slowly let's bring your feet to the floor if they're not there. And let's inhale to lift up off of your block. Slide it out of the way as you exhale to lower. Drawing both knees in towards your belly. I'm going to squeeze or make circles. And we're going to keep the right knee in and just put the left foot on the floor. Right, and then press it to the left foot so the hips just can move over to the right an inch or two. So you just press into that left foot, move the hips over, then straighten the left leg out. We're going to come into a knee down twist, bringing the knee across the body. You can rest it on your block, stretching right arm out to side if that feels okay. Now you might like your blanket below your head now, so feel free to grab that. Good. Let's breathe. Good, and your knee can be on your block so that your right shoulder can come closer to the floor. Good, and as you breathe in, let's breathe into both sides of the rib cage. There you go. That's it. And your bottom arm can be wherever it feels best. Your head can be wherever it feels best. And now as you exhale, let's engage the abdominals first and bring that knee into center. Let's give it a squeeze. Inhale. As you exhale, let's place the right foot on the floor with the knee bent. Inhale, bring the left knee in and give it a squeeze. Good. And exhale, just move the hips. You just press into the right foot, move the hips over to the left an inch. Good. And then straightening out the right leg. We'll bring that left knee across the body to your block on your right side. You might need to untuck that right shoulder blade, and then you can extend the left arm if that feels okay. And notice where it feels best to look with your head. It's okay to turn it toward the knee or the ceiling or the opposite arm, wherever you want. Focusing on the inhale, expanding the ribs, and the long exhale. A few more like that. Good. And then slowly begin your exhale first and engage the abdominals to roll onto your back. And inhale, give that left knee a squeeze. Good. And then exhale, let's bring both knees in again. You can come to happy baby pose if you'd like, or wide knees to chest. And now from here, you can bend the knees or release the feet, bring the feet to the floor, and I'm going to set up in a restorative pose. You can do any pose you'd like, of course, that's restorative. What I'm going to show is just placing my blocks. You could use a bolster too, below my knees, or they could be below the hamstrings. Now, I would want a second blanket for me, so I'm happy to bring anybody one that didn't grab two, because I like one over my body for weight and also below my head for softness. Okay, so you really want to try to make yourself feel supported and grounded as you practice letting go. Anybody give me a little wave if you want me to bring you a second blanket. I'm happy to do that. Or a bolster. Anybody? Yeah, bolster. All right. Head or knees? Yeah, there you go. Anybody else got what they need? Could also cover your eyes. Does anybody want an eye pillow? Here, Karin, let me give you an eye pillow. It's really nice. Yeah, so when you get there, fiddle around, take the time to get really comfortable. Thank you. Hang on, there we go. Thanks. Sure. And then you could take a sigh or two. Feeling for releasing as much effort as you can for the next few minutes. You know, it's only going to be about 4 minutes, right? How much effort can you release for the next 4 minutes? Feeling the ground below you, the props below you. And feeling as though you could sink into the floor below you, sink a little deeper into the floor. Softening around your eyes and your forehead. You can soften your tongue and your jaw. The way down to your throat, can you soften? Inviting that softness down into your chest and your belly. The way down to your hips and legs, softness, your ankles and your feet, your arms and hands. And then feeling as though you could sink a little bit more deeply into the floor below you again, just letting go, might sigh.